it didn't give me that other screen.
Yep.
It's the other program that I use. But so here's our little gate. Here we go. I have it set up to where we can do just this or just that. Bammo. Look at your pretty self.
Yeah, let's close that one. Don't nobody want to look at this mug.
Oh, we may be online on Facebook finally.
Look, huh?
YouTube, we might be. Someone's on Facebook right now. Popped on going. Who's this?
What up, boy?
Watch it be Lee.
Probably is Lee.
Watch it be Lee. What we got going on here?
Viewers going.
Oh yeah, boom. There you go.
Yeah,
there you go. So that it finally is working. I don't know who's watching, but it finally is working.
Too. Yep.
Well, welcome everyone. This is the very first episode
What's
of
up,
a long time attempting for us to get this kind of going. Obviously, Chuck here, Dubz there, Chuck here, and welcome to the very first DE podcast. I kind of forget to look over there. So, for those of you who don't know, DE is a group of individuals who like to play video games together. Pretty much all it is.
Video games together.
We're currently right now streaming 2 to 3 times a week, and we're gonna try to stay 2-3 times a week on a schedule of Monday, Wednesday, and maybe Thursday or Friday, depending on schedules. As you can see here, you can see your viewer count going up there.
What's up, viewers? Thanks for tuning in.
So, as we what are we, Saturday?
Yep.
So, Super Bowl's tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Oh no, next week.
Yeah.
Pro Bowl's tomorrow.
Yeah, we got another week.
Pro Bowl's tomorrow.
Pro Bowl.
Super Bowl is in 2 weeks. And as the Simpsons have predicted, the 49ers are probably going to win.
49ers, baby.
On
top.
I mean,
I did see a thing, though, on Facebook about that. They're like, well, the Chiefs are technically red, too.
Well, yeah, so, now, did they ever come out and say who...
I don't think they said
team
which
was?
team was. I think they just said the winner, and it was like red and white jersey.
Hey, I mean, I guess you can't be...
Simpsons, no. It was the Niners.
I mean, it's pretty, Now, what if the Niners come out in white and the Chiefs come out in red?
And I'm not watching that.
I mean...
I'll be disappointed.
I mean, that is possible.
Simpsons.
I mean... Or what if, they... Chiefs come out in white and the Niners come out in their alternative black color?
That'd be sweet, but yeah, I don't know.
That would be sweet.
That would be sweet.
I can't believe... So, obviously, during the championship game against Green Bay, Jimmy G only had to throw 8 times because when you have the whole size of 25 yards, why would you even try not to run?
Yeah, drive a bus through it. Yeah.
And now everyone's giving Jimmy G. Oh, like they're doing the same thing that they did with Ryan Tannehill with Jimmy G. Oh, I don't think they can win with his arm. I mean, let's not forget they had the most powerful offense for the most part of the year, and it wasn't until the last few weeks that the Chiefs kind of started taking off. A few weeks before the end of the season.
Yeah, no doubt.
But, so, we got plenty of things to talk about. First thing we're going to talk about is Apex and the new game modes that Apex has.
Pretty fun. I've been enjoying them.
Whether it's, whether they're good or bad. I did not enjoy the third person because I felt it was just too much of a rip-off of,
Fortnite.
First phone caller. Yeah. Hello.
That's awesome.
No. I'm doing the podcast. Oh, fine.
And Lee, huh?
That was Lee.
Yeah. Our other DE member calling in.
But I think
I
think it's a good way for them to kind of test out new modes to see what the community likes.
Sure. Absolutely.
The duo mode, I think, by far is something that they should think about a duo mode, and they should think of a 4-player mode.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of weird. We've talked about that several times before, that it is strictly just a 3-player mode game. Kind of different. But yeah, the duos, I think, needs to be implemented permanently. I seen today there's a leak out that there's going to be a voting system now for the 2 maps, possibly. Okay. So that's pretty cool, something to think about.
What game did that? I know Battlefield did that. Battlefield 1 did that. Or even if they don't do a voting system, if they just put the other map in rotation,
right?
That would be that'd be fine, with the exception of like if you don't necessarily like Kings Canyon,
Right.
or whatever it's called, or the new map, which I mean I don't know why you wouldn't like the new map because it's, in my opinion, just better.
Yeah. And
It's
now
a
they
better
have the nighttime mode too for Kings Canyon, so they could throw that in rotation too. You have daytime, nighttime, and the new map.
Which I have not done. I have not played the nighttime mode yet.
It's different. It's set up to where you can hide in a lot of crevices because it's real dark. But there's a lot of those golden red scopes, so you could see in the dark.
That makes sense.
Kind of balances it a little bit.
That makes sense. But yeah, because like I said, I haven't tried it out. I wasn't too excited when I'd seen the fact that it was going to be a nighttime version of the original map. But also, I was kind of excited to play the original map again.
Right.
I'll see a bunch of like people's highlight reels, and it's of the old map. So I'm like, I kind of miss the old map, but not really. Like, I mean, I do remember the old map did kind of suck.
Yeah, it does get stale just playing the same map over and over and over, so it's nice having the old one back to refresh it a little bit.
Right. And I mean, but to me, the biggest thing that I'm kind of waiting for is whatever the new legend is going to be.
Oh yeah, the new guy.
Because I mean, it's been a while. What the most recent one was? Crypto.
Yeah.
And you see the nice thing about Apex is you see a variety of legends when you go and you play.
Right.
You'll see, I'm always one person, but whenever we're going against, you always see maybe that squad has a lifeline, but they'll have either Gibraltar, or they'll have just the new people, or they'll have just the old original legends.
Sure.
So they're all useful in their own scenario.
Yeah, a bunch of variations of supports. I mean, you can play a bunch of different styles with each legend.
And as I was telling Binks the other day, every legend has its own strength, and depending on the player, fits their playstyle.
Right.
Like,
yeah, if you're
some
aggressive,
people,
Pathfinder's your guy. I mean, you could zip in and out of battles real quick.
Some people like playing as Bloodhound. I, for one, don't. But that's just me.
Yep.
Let me do this. So unlike, oh, there you go, Dubz, live right now. Pow-pow.
Yeah.
Unlike, get this all done with. So I forgot to post it on. So, what do you think about I loved it. Just the gold mode.
Oh, everything gold weapons? Yeah, that was awesome. Heck of fun. I do like how they are doing the different game modes like that every 2 days. It's pretty neat. Yeah, I definitely like the gold Shotty snipers. Was fun.
Communities out there looking good. So, Dragon Ball Kakarot, have you played it?
Not much. I haven't even fought Nappa yet. That's about how far I've played that game.
Now, I think it's a fun game. I've beaten Nappa, haven't got to Vegeta yet. When you look at other people, I think one of the negative things about any type of trying to get your name known on YouTube or anything like that is when other people get the exploit advantage of being able to play the game earlier.
Right, being the first one on scene.
Because when you're like, oh, okay, so the game comes out on Thursday, and I want to, I'm just kind of just poking around, seeing things. Oh shoot, someone's live. Mm-hmm. What? How is this person getting live? So naturally, you have the two questions of how are you live and how can I get the game? How are you able to play? How can I be able to play? And what seems to be happening with all the Bandai games is if you buy them and you pre-order the disc, they mail it to you, and for some strange reason, that thing works, but the digital one doesn't.
Yeah, they got a lock on it.
So, it happened with Shinobi Striker. PS4 people got it a couple days earlier, and then it happened again with that game. I don't know if it happened with Jump Force, but Jump Force was one of those games where I was playing it. I was super excited about it, and then never got it.
Yeah, it kind of let me down too. Jump Force. I mean, it had potential. Being a really good fighter with all the different characters from all the different animes and stuff was a lot of potential.
Now, what I like about Dragon Ball Kakarot is it's introducing what in the MMO world is the open world, and where in most MMOs are in zones. So you have these two that are on different server clusters, and when you go from here to here, you get a loading screen,
Right.
but you load it up. And so when I'm playing that, the one thing I'm thinking of is, man, this would be cool if they did a hybrid between this and Xenoverse. You know, like, okay, you see a bunch of other Dragon Ball characters who people make flying around
Right.
or doing their thing. Like, I mean, they had the one Dragon Ball MMO over in Korea, but it wasn't very good. And that's kind of what Xenoverse was based on. Like, the main bad guys from that became the bad guys in Xenoverse. So it was kind of like a little bit of a crossover. But the game itself looks fantastic, like every game does.
Graphics are amazing.
And the cutscenes, it's definitely because it's an RPG. Because it's an RPG, I don't play RPGs very often. Very story-driven. And it's the same story that we've been playing for the last 20 years.
Yeah, so it's hard to get excited to play the same
So,
story.
and even like in Xenoverse, when they changed up the rules and this guy was a good guy, this guy became stronger, it was still very much Goku, you fought Raditz, then the Saiyan Saga, then the Frieza Saga. And now my question is how come they don't do a Dragon Ball Super game?
Yeah, they got enough content now, I mean, with all the Super stuff that's been out, to be able to release a full game.
Well, and like the very first PlayStation 2 game that I remember was the original Budokai, and that went right up to Cell, so it didn't even complete the full Dragon Ball saga.
Right.
So it's like, okay, I understand that Super is not complete, but we have 100+ episodes of, you know, you have the original, like the original tournament arc, then you have the Goku Black arc, then you have the later tournament arc. That's a lot of things you can do.
Absolutely.
Just as a game. A one-player game, multiplayer game. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people, especially the streamers and the YouTubers who like to play the Dragon Ball games like that, I'm sure they would love a little bit more new content, new stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, if they did something like Xenoverse 3 and it went into like the Super arc and stuff, and you had all the different characters like that flying around to be able to train with and do something, that'd be amazing.
I forgot to open the browser.
Oh, cool.
Try it again here.
Hooray.
So you can see down here, this is how I usually have this popped up and with the rest of it, but we did Dragon Ball. We talked a little bit about Apex. I think that, like, I've never played it, but I would have loved to see like a permanent mode of just the lightsabers only in Fortnite.
Oh yeah.
Like,
that
I
was
probably
cool.
would.
We talked about that a lot. How that's like the one thing that's kind of intriguing about Fortnite is the specialty stuff, like the Marvel stuff they had, and then the Star Wars stuff. I'm like, that's pretty cool. They're doing that stuff, but that's about it. Nothing else is very appealing to that game to me.
No, well, I mean, and as we said, I think people took it and didn't do what just like everybody will do. You find a game, and the game designers say, okay, this is probably the way they're gonna play it,
Right.
and then people don't.
Nope.
I mean, it's called Fortnite, so to me, you would think that you'd build a fort,
Right.
a physical fort, and whatever as the storm or the circles coming in. You know, they try to do their own way to make themselves unique versus PUBG, and they definitely did do that.
Yeah.
Because it's by far way more successful than PUBG. But they just build these ramps up into the sky.
Yep.
And as we know, as addicting as Battle Royale games are, whenever I watch people play Fortnite, I'll watch my friends play Fortnite, but I just don't care. I just watch them to watch them.
Right, to give them support.
Yeah, like I'd rather watch Paladins, and Paladins to me kind of reminds me of like a knockoff of Apex Legends a little bit. Or like maybe a knockoff of Smite. That might be the better way to compare it.
I haven't played that one.
It's a free game, and then you watch it, and you're like, oh yeah, it's just another team-based shooter deathmatch game that's
There's
free.
a million other games that are out.
I mean nothing crazy. It kind of has a bit of an Overwatch-ish feel, but not really. I mean, it's just kind of meh.
That's another huge title I've never played yet, Overwatch.
Overwatch is huge because they have the backing of Blizzard, and Blizzard is such a big thing, and they do tournaments, and they throw money at people, and so Overwatch was, that was their first way of, let's get into the first-person shooter, and you have 11 million people who played WoW who are all Blizzard fans. So no matter what Blizzard comes out with,
right,
even if you get 2% of 11 million people buy that, it's already a successful game.
right,
Already.
yeah.
And I mean, you know, at its highest, World of Warcraft I think they said 15, like there was on the box, like 15 million active subscribers. Yeah, it's 15 million times $15 a month.
Lots of money.
And for some reason, you can't call them and get a tech support person. Like, you get a robot.
It's too expensive.
I understand, you know, they had a lot of projects going on, and their movie didn't do all that well, but, it's a lot of money for an MMO. I mean, good lord. They re-released Classic WoW. Released Classic WoW, and as amazing as everyone said Classic WoW was, they made it fairly like Classic WoW was, because it's buggier than a mofo.
Really?
Oh my, like people are like, dude, it's so buggy, it's a lot of work. Well, that's kind of what Classic WoW was. It was, you know, you release a game and you're like, all right, it's done, and then you realize, oh yeah,
it's not done.
It's not done, and then that's what patches are for.
Right. Yeah, how many games have come out like that? Work in progress is like, holy crap, this game ain't ready yet.
Yep. And I don't like the
Arc was a huge one.
I'm gonna say I don't like the game preview where you pay for the beta version of the game. You're essentially paying to test.
Yeah, No Man's Sky, Arc, guys.
And I get it because you know, when you're helping pay them so they can keep making the game.
Right.
But you know, most studios give you this amount of money and
do something with it.
Yeah. And they do like a Bloody Friday where you're almost at the very end and they just fire all the staff. Boom, you're gone.
You're done. Release the game.
Yep. Like I said, that happened with that Honor game. For Honor.
Yeah.
And they fired the guy,
the main dude,
the main creator behind it. They just said, well, hey man, thanks for the idea.
Yeah. But you gotta go.
Yeah. Thanks for the idea. That was a heck of an idea. You're gonna make us a lot of money.
That's hella messed up too, having your baby built up like that and then just cut, you're out.
Yeah. And then looking around my little figurines, we had talked about like a Smite version or a Naruto version of a Star Wars game, where you're able to. I would like to see an action-based game, where controller, mouse, keyboard, doesn't matter, where you hit a button and you swing a lightsaber, and it's 4-on-4, like they did with that GameCube game I played, and I don't remember what I don't even remember what it was called. I want to say Jedi Academy, but I could be so wrong. And like really, when you break it down, there wasn't really much to the game, but it was 4-on-4 Jedis fighting each other.
Right. Well, that's what the heroes mode on Battlefront is pretty fun to play, just because you're playing all the heroes and the villains.
And it is very close to that. So I do agree with you on that, absolutely. But like, no, we don't have it. Like the closest thing is that VR game, which looks awesome.
It does look awesome.
Looks like a great time.
Yeah, no, I think they could do that. If they do a game like that with Striker, that'd be great. Even if Marvel came out with a game like Striker, that would be amazing. Can you imagine playing that game?
I told Lee that we were live, and I think originally, I think it automatically flagged that we were playing a different game other than YouTube. So he's like, dude, are you in the Xbox? You want to play Apex? I'm like, oh, you know, we're doing. Oh yeah, dude, I totally forgot.
Yeah.
You know, they have yeah, I mean, I just can't wait for. We were actually this close from making the Super Bowl the Titans. It felt like this close, but
you were that close.
we were that close after the first quarter.
Yep.
And then yeah, I don't know what exactly happened.
You can only run the ball so many times, and throughout a couple weeks of play, dude, that dude was tired. Henry was tired.
And honestly, it wasn't even that big of a hit, but there was a hit that the safety put on one-on-one tackle, got him at the legs, and when Henry got up, when he got up, I instantly said, "Uh-oh."
Yeah,
like he didn't look hurt, but I think he was shook. Like, this little safety compared to him just tackled me one-on-one in the field, hit my legs, and it didn't look like it felt too good. And after that, it was like almost a defining moment where, like, then he started getting stuffed. And I watched I was just at one point just sitting on the couch. And Michaela's like, Dad, we're losing. I know.
Yeah.
And hey, just want to let you know, we had a heck of a run.
Hey, you guys were there.
we had a heck of a run.
Anybody thought your team was going to do for sure.
Yep. Now, what would be what people consider as disappointing would have been that Conor McGregor Cowboy fight.
Oh yeah, that was.
But
it depends on how you look at it. I mean, a lot of people think it was rigged. I mean, dude, it didn't look like Cowboy was taking that kind of vicious punishment.
As of today, he has a cracked orbital eye socket from the kick.
Oh wow.
So
hey, it's all set up. It's all fake. Fake X-rays.
Oh
fake
my!
News is
holy, like,
TNT.
God dang, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It was quick. I mean, it's the same disappointment you had watching a Mike Tyson fight, dude. I mean, you knew what you were. It's just like it was over. It's like, oh, that was it.
But the thing about Conor is, and it doesn't translate very well when you watch it on TV, is you don't get to appreciate how fast and how strong any of these guys are.
Oh, absolutely.
Like you were like, oh, dude, I could do that.
No, absolutely.
I don't think so. He's gonna turn your face into a meat grinder,
yeah.
like, and so when he, like, it was beautiful when you could definitely tell that the recipe that they had was, okay, let's take Conor to the ground. The only times he's lost is when he went to the ground. Let's do it. But when he ran in there, whether it's intentional or not, he ran into Conor's thigh. Who knows how much that actually stunned him? And then he took those like John Jones shoulder shots
on the nose
and broke his nose.
That's what they said. Yeah, I'm like, dude. I'm like, if he really legit broke his nose with some shoulder shrugs, like, damn.
Like, the second one was not a shoulder shrug. It was you can tell the first one hit here, the second one hit, like, right on the bone. The second one was much more of an upper drive that cracked him. And then, I mean, after, when it's like to get hit in the nose, like, he was you can tell, definitely stunned. And then, next thing you know, it was just Conor being Conor on top of him, wailing on him. And I'm like, I remember, because we were watching it, I'm like, it's already over.
Yep,
it's already, like, I thought Herb Dean let that fight go a lot longer than probably it normally would have. But I cannot believe this fight's over. Like, and that's one of those things with Conor, like, the buildup is so big.
Right.
That you get so excited. And they usually, great fight promotion, they usually do it for the opponent. Oh, this guy's going to really put him to work and blah, blah, blah. Even the Diaz 1 fight, it was all Conor until he got stunned.
Mm-hmm.
Diaz was pouring blood, could barely see out of his eye. He has all that scar tissue in his eye. And then did a nice little... And again, it doesn't look like Diaz is hitting that hard, but he stunned him a couple times. And you're like, dude, these just look like straight combinations, nothing crazy. Doesn't even look like he's going that fast, but look at the damage that's happening. Like, good Lord. Conor's beard was all soaked in Diaz's blood.
Yeah, absolutely,
that's
dude.
gross.
I mean, let anybody take those jabs like that consistently to the face, dude. It's gonna hurt. Well,
and obviously, like, if you're gonna build your fight against Conor, okay, you don't want to stand with him because he's a counter striker.
Right.
So do we take it to the limit? No, because you're gonna get tired. He's gonna get tired, but he's still gonna strike you. So take him to the ground. That's exactly what Cowboy decided to do, and
didn't work out for him.
Work out. No,
broken nose from a shoulder. Shoulder shrug.
No, it did not.
It did
not work out. One thing I forgot to do was something else I planned, but we can do that next time. Which was just these type of recording things that I was gonna do. I told you earlier, Rise of Skywalker. I don't know if I think it's in whole out of the 9 Skywalker trilogy movies, according to Rotten Tomatoes. Now, the worst movie.
That's retarded. I don't think so. I have to disagree. Like, hugely disagree. I mean, I would say it's the best, but it's definitely not the worst.
I mean, was it a bit of a mess? I mean, as I had said prior to even watching The Rise of Skywalker, it felt like they didn't have a master blueprint of what they should do.
Right.
Like, here's the start, here's the middle, here's the end, and then now we need to do filler, essentially storytelling stuff to. But this is what we want to accomplish.
Right.
It didn't feel like there was those steps in there. Like, this is what we want to accomplish. It was kind of like, all right, you do your thing, then we'll give this guy his chance, and we'll give that person this chance, and hope for the best.
Mm-hmm.
And after the Last Jedi, you can definitely tell they went into panic mode.
Oh sure, yeah, they had to clean up that mess.
Just because, you know, they retconned bunch of and they always do a bunch of reshoots, of course, but they retconned it. They brought J.J. Abrams back. He didn't think he was going to direct another Star Wars movie. It's like, I thought I was just doing the one and done.
Yep.
Did that. Naturally, you have Carrie Fisher, who died. But again, like, he wasn't really... He was a side character.
Sure.
So, what's up?
Neighbor just talked to me, saying it's not her dogs that are barking while her dog is barking.
What do you mean?
The when the dogs are out,
Okay.
the noise.
So why is she come and tell you? What'd she say? Just, hey, just so you know my dogs aren't barking? That was it?
Is it?
Okay.
And that her son said he helped fix the fence.
Yeah, fix that fence your dog knocked down.
Okay. Alright. How random.
Right. Gotta love neighbors.
It is their dog barking.
Yeah.
As you've seen, the dog was chasing the person down the road.
Trying to eat him. They have a mean dog.
A big dog. I mean,
He's a big dog.
You could ride that thing. One of the things I'm going to do is, I think I told you, buy these little guys off of...
Yeah, those guys are cool.
Off of... Just kind of buy them, but I found a bunch of them on Wish.
Yeah.
Now, the ones... So a lot of people are like... and I think I figured out what it is. A lot of people are all like, oh, you know, they're rip-offs. I don't think they're rip-offs. I think they're defects. Because one of them has, like, Naruto right here, but it's misspelled.
Right.
Or one of them's like a Naruto figure, but down here is Kakashi. So I think it's just imperfections. And when they look at it, like, well, I mean, we could either throw it away or we could sell it and make $30.
Right. Like if a Nike hat was like misspelled or something, they just sell it.
Like, you know, we're not gonna get the $90 off that we would get for this, but let's see if we can get $30.
Yeah, we ain't getting retail.
Forget it,
let's discount it.
You know, what's his name made 40 of these things, not just one. You know,
right.
Rarely when you make mass production things,
you only have
do you get one
up.
thing that's messed up.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, because they look legit. I mean.
Yeah. No, I mean, and some of them you can definitely tell. Like, I think even in, like, they're fine, but like the box was smashed, and they're like, well, this was defective, got returned like an Amazon return. What do we do with it? Well, maybe we can make $11, $10 off of it.
A discounted price.
You know, someone's gonna buy it, and then you watch the person buy it, open it up. Oh man, it's all smashed and it's warped. But you know, I can do this. I mean, hell, like, that's Amazon does that.
Right.
You can buy those boxes from Amazon that are just like they're like lots, and you don't even know what's in them, and they're all returns. Boxes. And some of them are like brand new Xboxes that were just ordered by accident, or you know, you bought it for your kid and he's being a whatever, so you send it back, like you don't get it.
Dude, we should do one of those for a podcast one day. Go in on a mystery box and unveil it.
I thought about doing a mystery box. Like, I thought about just buying a mystery box and like making a video, so you could do like a live stream of that. I'm gonna buy like a bunch of these things from Wish and just open up and just check them out and see what you know. And obviously, I want to grow the collection, and when we get the garage up and running, the compound,
it's coming.
I was looking at those, like storage, like the ones that look like that's what they're designed for, even though they're probably not. I'm like, god dang, dude, for one of them, $70.
Yeah, they're not cheap, dude. I mean, like you know already, the bigger you go to, the more expensive they get, and the more detailed they are. But the more badass they look. I mean,
I'm like $70 for one that's, I don't know, 3.5 foot tall with 4 slots in it. I'm like, that's as many of those figures that I have, not counting if you want to display the pops, which I have quite a few. I mean, I don't have a million, but I'm like,
it's like those one big old glass case ones they have with the lighting on them. I'm like, those are sweet, like $6,000. I'm like, oh yeah, nope.
Yeah, they're not that.
I think I'll have one of those.
I watched a guy who converted. It looked like he converted either a regular bookshelf, or he bought those ones like that thing right there, and then just put in like his own lighting into them, and it looked really, really good. But when you look at his collection, he has like a humongous room full of these things, all on the floor, and I'm like,
spread out everywhere.
It was a guy from Vietnam I was telling you about. My dude, like, how much money do you spend on all that stuff?
Yeah,
like oh my god,
over there they're normal price compared to here.
they're dirt cheap, and he just says he just walks into a shop down there and sees what they have.
Look at that figure up there. I'll take it.
Yep, they have that, and they have, like the same thing with the Gundam models, and
that's sweet. I wish we had that over here, dude. Be able to walk in and be like, "Oh, it's only $10. Let me grab one of those. I'll take 2."
Well, I mean, and the thing is they're making them in Vietnam. That's how they can get them so cheap.
Yep, that's where the factories are at.
Pallets disappear all the time.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So
that one fell off the truck.
I was watching a guy talking about how he met this little old Italian dude, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I do this, and then I part-time sell TVs out of a storage unit." TVs out of a storage unit? How do you get them? Hey man, don't ask so many questions. Sometimes things just disappear. Don't ask any questions. He's like, dude, this guy's an old school Italian guy. He's like, this guy's awesome. So he got himself like a 72-inch TV for $200 off this guy. Just, hey, don't ask questions. Whoa, this is just the way it goes.
Yeah. You need to ask questions.
I would love that.
Pretty good.
But yeah, other than, like I said, first episode we're gonna kind of hit our stride and figure out exactly what and how, and get Lee. And I was looking at possibly. Yeah. The problem is Lee doesn't have a computer.
I was gonna say, could we get him in like on a Skype channel or something, and bring him in a little window?
That's the problem. Now I absolutely could do that, because I know I can, because I have 2 monitors. So what you can do is you can set it up to where it only captures like this part here. Then you can have the audio, how we have the audio coming in here, the audio of the desktop, so you'd only hear Lee, and then so you could definitely do that. Boom up in the corner. So no, it's definitely possible. But have you ever had that fool trying to do anything tech wise?
Sure, it's like talking to Scoo.
It's like talking to Scoo.
Talking to his dad.
Yeah, it's humorous. But that's how it is. Now we also have one thing I was gonna show you. Let's make sure that doesn't pop up there, which we're good. We'll do one of these. Pow. So they can see what we're doing here.
Now the whole DE world knows what we look like.
Well, they've always known what I look like, because I would stream with my camera on. And then there's that one time we streamed with the camera on you. So, this is one of the things where I save things in different locations sometimes. Well, what we'll do is... It's funny when I talk to... Here we go. This is what I wanted. When I talk to...
merch.
When I talk to my brother about all his... when he's constantly calling about this and that. So the very last thing I wanted to do is call and talk to you and Lee about merch.
Oh, yeah.
After Dean just talked to you for an hour for about things. And I'm like, dude, I have so... not so many questions, but questions. Like... What do you think about this? How should we do that? Yada yada yada. What, again, it's the 3 of us, even though right now it's really the 2 of us, but it's really the 3 of us. So I want to make sure the 3 of us are collaborating and feeling like you have an equal say, not just like when I mentioned to Lee, he's like, well, how come I didn't get the link of it? I'm like, I know you got the link.
Right.
You just forgot you got the link.
Yeah.
So
yeah, those are sweet, dude.
What? I would pull up just the regular one, but I think I don't know where the image is. So as you can see here, how the there's two things. I love the idea of something in the logo,
yeah.
but I also don't want to overdo the idea of something in the DE
Inside
logo.
of it, yeah, being that's all you do.
Yeah, like I don't want a whole thing of, yeah, like you can do that thing really well.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's just your one section of line for that clothing item, though.
Right.
You have the ones with the stuff in them, then you have the plain, then you have different. Like,
and this idea was kind of like, so we did the
what if you
now
did that reversed right there, dude? Like the DE in solid, and then the background of the T have all the animation and anime characters going on.
the DE solid, and then yeah, I see what you're saying. Kind of like my old like.
I have a bunch of anime shirts like that where they're just like a lot of character scenes going on all over, sporadic kind of deal. Then if you had the solid DE logo right in the middle of it, that'd be dope.
We'll see if like something like this or something different. I mean, obviously not them standing there.
Sure, yeah, but yeah, like kind of like how I have this right here, but it'd be all over, and then right in the middle it'd be DE, but with like the solid letters instead.
Yeah. There's an idea.
Just a plain T-shirt,
So when I look at this one,
yeah, Dubz edition, baby.
Obviously the very first one was just these.
Right.
These four. Did a sweatshirt, did a regular kids shirt because my daughter, and we have kids, and then did a regular T-shirt, and then I did this one. So, but the thing I like about this one, and the thing I don't like about this one, is the Dubz part of it. I like it because that makes it like your edition of a shirt, which is exactly the idea. But when I look down and like this one was completely like me, because this one's me. It's dark colors. I like dark colors. I like blue. This is, even though it's very plain, that's exactly what I would like in a shirt.
Right.
And so that's kind of what I was going with. And when I made this Gohan one, Gohan's one of my favorite characters.
Oh, yeah.
It's within the DE. So I was toying around with kind of what made the Dubsack logo, and the DE logo, but I haven't quite found a happy medium.
Right.
Like something
I'm
happy with.
For your idea there with the characters on the inside, dude, you could definitely do like yours is the Gohan one. You could do a Dubz edition with Trunks in the middle, or know my character, and throw one for Lee with every character if he even knows a character from TZ.
But freaking Jay from Jay's House.
You gotta get Mr. Popo, bro.
Mr. Oh, come in. So, like, and as I had said with him about not even specifically Star Wars, but kind of specifically Star Wars. I'm like, he's like, dude, I ain't gonna watch any of that stuff. I'm like, yeah, but trust me. Like, just trust me. Just trust me. You're gonna start wondering, like, what is this guy and what is this and why this and that, and
you're gonna want to know the backstory to everything that we're talking about all the time. I mean, damn, how many times he's just radio silent because he has no idea what we're talking about a movie or.
Well, that's how I got into. I mean, I realize it's not necessarily. I mean, we do play a golf game. That's how I got into golf. Was working with Luke,
who plays golf,
and all he talked about was golf, and I was just quiet.
Yep.
And sometimes when you're 5 hours, 6 hours into a shit, you're just like, I gotta find something to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
This person, the only thing we really have in common is sports, but he's not super up to date on the sports nowadays. Right. The only thing he's into is golf, and all I know is Tiger Woods.
Right.
Like majority of people. So I started to watch it and just start asking questions. And not to say that's what Lee needs to do, but what Lee does need to do is we need to figure out a way to get it to where he can stream.
You're going to need to get a computer. I mean, ultimately, he's got to get a PC so he can either live chat with us in the games and then stream himself, record his own footage, because, not working all day, he could be playing all day.
And that's the thing. He has, he has called me a few times asking questions. He has a little bit of, where I was a few years ago, where you have a little bit of like a I wonder how. I wonder if I could,
Sure.
that little bit of a drive. But I told him, I said, dude, like, look, I already have things set up. What you need is the only way I know how to do it is with a computer.
Right.
There's other ways you can do it, like on PlayStation and stuff like that, but you aren't on PlayStation. You're on Xbox. There's other ways you can live stream, but majority of them take a computer.
Right. I was like, I think Mixer you can do on the Xbox too.
You can
by
do
itself,
on
but
you can do on the Xbox,
I
but
think
you're
that's
not.
only because it's exclusive for the Xbox.
Yeah,
like
and you're
that.
not able to like. If you are wanting to stream just to YouTube,
Right.
you cannot do it. And I don't know about the audio. Like that's why I had to buy a microphone in
'cause
the
it
first
comes through your
place.
headset. I think that's a lot of streamers have that issue because they have headsets with the microphone
Yep.
right in front of them too. So absolutely.
Because I mean, it makes sense. How I capture your guys' audio is I tell the game that I want to hear your guys' audio through the speakers and my headset. So I don't hear anything different.
Right.
The speakers you would hear it, but I have this, you don't hear it. So that's how I'm able to record your guys' audio. So then I have to change like the in-game settings of the sound a little bit down, and most of them you have to do anyway. 'Cause they're so loud.
Yeah.
And I can hear you guys nice and clear. That's why I have the overlay up. Not that anybody has ever once said, "Oh, that was Dubz' voice." Like no one's ever, like I could tell because of the overlay.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
no one's ever said that. But it was just one of those things
A
where
lot of times, yeah, the overlay is just going off. All three voices are just talking. There's
Yep.
when one's talking.
And it was just one of those things where I said, you know what? To make it easier, if anybody ever wondered, it's there. It's built into the Xbox,
Right.
so might as well click it on. At first, it bothered the crap out of me. Now I know it's fantastic because if I'm having audio problems, I can say, hey, can you hear me? And I can see my thing
yeah,
up there.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
You don't see it, you know, you can't be heard, right?
Or
oh,
like
shit,
I
I'm on
can
mute.
I can see you saying stuff and going,
Yeah, I can't hear him. What's up?
why can't I hear? Oh, dude, I can't hear anything.
Yeah.
I don't even have any games going. So.
Sure. Yeah, I've had that problem several times too. It's also a reminder too. Oh, I'm on mute because I forgot to click my thing back on. My little
What-
thing's not going on.
What's really bizarre is so I've toyed around with a few different places. The reason why I like this one is once you hit a certain number of subscribers, underneath your channel it will pop up down there.
Oh, nice.
Like you can get it integrated. So I thought, oh, that's cool. I should probably stick with that one. Doesn't cost any money to have it up and running. Some places, they charge you. Because of that, you're limited to what you're able to actually have. You're not able to make beanies, but we do have a place to make beanies, so that's not that big of a deal. But you're limited to a few things, but also you're like, I don't know why. Like most of this is like 50 cents over cost because right now, realistically, we're the only ones who are going to be buying it.
Yeah.
So I did everything, and I made this one because my daughter wanted it, but it's $23.50 over cost. And I'm like, when you look at the other one, I think the men's size is 17 or 20. This one's $3 more expensive for
A smaller
this much
size.
more material or less material.
Yeah. Probably because it
Size.
is a smaller size. I don't know.
But then,
generic sizes
I think
are
it's
usually cheaper.
I think it's the factory in which it's made, because if you buy the UK version, which you can only buy in the UK, only available, it's $11,
Yeah, I don't know. Shipping maybe
and it's
more,
just on that particular item.
That's crazy.
Doesn't happen with the kids' premium shirt or anything else like that. Oh yeah, I actually made a toddler shirt because I thought it was the kid size shirt.
Hey, we got toddlers too.
Hey, I was gonna buy
Gotta represent.
a black one and take it over to Brody.
Oh, nice. Should have, dude. You should have.
Hey fool, I know you always fit this
Yeah.
kid and that regulator stuff and all that Boston stuff, and that's fine, but I got him a real
Yeah,
shirt.
here's something good for him.
I got him a real shirt.
Should have, dude. That would be sweet.
But yeah, this is the one. This is the one I want right here.
Chunk edition.
Just because it's black and blue. I like black and blue, and it's. I realized it's legitimately plain. There's nothing. It's just plain. And
So
I
you don't even got your name on it.
Nope. It's just plain. When I made it, I actually recreated the logo, even though it looks exactly the same. I recreated it because in the editor it wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. So I had to like these are actually single bars, not an E.
Right.
To make it look like an E.
Looks a little bit different than the other E's.
Yeah, so it's a single bar versus this one being a legitimate
E.
E.
Yeah.
Now this one's funky because they try to make it look separate, so it's all like wavy looking. But yeah,
The Yizzle.
I think I had sent you that one where you had the part of the logo
Right.
wrapping through
Yeah.
the DE.
Yeah, that's cool too.
I'd say, but I wasn't quite like happy with it. I looked at it, I'm like, that was a good first attempt for me to try to figure out if I could do a certain style of something.
Right.
I'm like, okay, yeah, I could, but I'm like,
Just gotta refine it a little bit.
maybe I'll shelf it and never touch it again, or I don't know. Who knows what we're gonna do with it? But yeah, we are. Is there anything else? Anything that you want to talk about? Anything you want to hit or discuss before we wrap this first one up?
Not that I could think of. We pretty much covered all the basis topics that we wanted to talk about off the get go.
Yeah, I mean, you could talk about just
Yeah, I mean, it's a beginning.
endless amounts of things. Like I said, wanting to get a 3D printer because I want to start making stormtrooper helmets.
Okay.
Because I'm a nerd. Stormtrooper helmets and of course Ninja Stars. Because why not?
Yeah, why wouldn't you want Ninja Stars?
They're talking about wanting to go to Disneyland again, the girls, and
Good luck with that.
huh?
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And
Gonna need a third job.
yeah, I know. And they want to go and build lightsabers.
Oh hell yeah.
I'm like, and as cool as that is, they're $200 a piece.
Yeah, that's expensive, dude.
This one was $170, but I was down at Disneyland for 4 days and hadn't bought myself a single thing.
Yep, gotta buy yourself something nice.
And they were spending, I mean, not that it mattered to me that they were spending a lot of money, but I'm like, you know what, I want to buy something that's just, like, not even, like, stupid amount of money. I don't want to spend a lot of money, but I just wanted to buy something. And we happened to be just getting off Star Tours, and we're walking around, and I'm like, I'm going to buy a lightsaber. And Nicole's like, well, do it. And I really said it joking around.
Yeah.
And then I looked at this one, I'm like,
Yep.
oh, it's Rey's. I'm like, whatever. I'm like, but it is Anakin's lightsaber.
Yeah.
And I do like Anakin.
Shit is dope.
They were the ones from Saberforge you could buy, and they are awesome looking. Like, they are legitimately awesome looking. But they're like $200-300 as a prop, just sitting there. Yeah. No sound, no light. That one, at least I can plug the blade in and it turns on.
Yeah,
and
it does stuff.
does all that stuff. But it doesn't. But,
well, it's a lot of money for a prop.
I mean, that thing's heavy though. I mean, it is heavy. It's not real, but it's heavy. I mean, so at least when you hold on to it, you're like, yeah, okay, I can kind of see why they would. I mean, you're naturally paying the Disney tax, you're paying the Star Wars tax on it. But I can actually see why you would say that this is $100 before all of it.
Right.
Makes sense.
It's not just a hunk of plastic that's gonna break when you drop it.
No, fuck. No. The one thing that is kind of a bummer about it when you compare it to even the newer ones that they have now, like the blade's not quite as nice. Like when you turn it on, you can kind of see like a little LED rings-ish a little bit. Like maybe there's imperfections in the blade. I don't know what it is, but it's not like a solid blue color. Where when you look at the people making the new ones now, even though the light starts to fade because light can only go so far, it's solid.
Right.
For a certain amount. I'm like, but the blade is also like 1 inch shorter, but not a big deal. It's an inch. I mean, but as I was, $200 a piece. I'm gonna have to build 3 of them.
Yeah, good luck with that. So you're gonna need a third job, bro. Just for the lightsabers.
And then when you
bought the tickets,
when you walk in to the workshop afterwards, they're geniuses. You can buy new crystals that change the color, and I'm sure they're $10-20.
Yeah, freaking $20-40 for a crystal.
And then you can buy all of these. They're a little bit lesser quality than what they are right now. So, but they're $100 a piece.
Right.
Without the blade. Boom, boom, boom. And you can buy Ventress. You can, like, anybody who has a lightsaber, they pretty much have. Like, Obi-Wan from freaking episode 1.
Oh, shit.
Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker, you name it, they have it.
Are all the lights interchangeable, the blades?
The blades are, yeah,
That'd
because
be
it's the same kind of thing. This one you push it in and you turn it and it clicks.
Yeah, it locks in.
So
say at least if you bought all those and then you just had like one or two blades you wanted to interchange, you don't have to buy every blade for everyone, but yeah, that would get expensive.
But
quick.
Like Darth Maul, it's a double saber, but it's sold individually.
Really?
So if you want both double bladed, you have to buy 2 individual sabers.
Wow.
And then get the middle piece that goes in the middle and connect it.
Jeez.
And I'm sure the middle piece is sold
Oh,
separately.
of course.
And so, and not to mention, you don't have the blades.
Yeah, you have to buy 2 blades.
And then I'm watching these people on YouTube
bro.
who went and bought and they're not even big YouTubers, but they went and bought one of each, and then 2 of him and 2 of the Ventresses, and who knows if they bought individual blades or not. And I'm like,
yeah, you're doing the math in your head.
Good lord, dude!
Like,
cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. Like,
2, 4, 6,
like now
8,
the
12.
one that they did do right, in my opinion, was Ahsoka Tano when they opened it up. It came with both.
No,
that makes sense.
Yeah, it should.
Like Darth Maul should come with
right,
both.
Yeah, if you're a dual wielder, you should get both. Just like Ventress, you got those 2, you should get both of hers.
And hers is the same way. Like you buy them and they're individual. Now they didn't quite look like Ventresses that I remembered. They kind of looked bulkier and they kind of looked like an M4 clip, like a long version of it. And I'm like, huh. Well, maybe it's been a while. Yeah. Speaking of that, you have the new season coming up.
Wars, yeah.
So you'll have to cram.
Yeah, no,
you'll have to cram the rest of it.
There's a lot. Oh my damn.
There's a lot, and of course, because there's so many, there's a lot of episodes that are just kind of meh.
Yeah. And
the first few seasons, although they're good, they're kind of meh because you're trying to figure out,
right,
like what we're gonna say, what kind of story we're telling, and then it gets really good. And like I said, when towards like the 4th or 5th season, one of them's like the quote unquote lost season. I think it was incomplete. Some of them even are like the animatics of it aren't even done. It was good.
Yeah. And I've been enjoying them so far. I watch like 2 or 3 of them at a time when I start watching them because they're not terribly long. So.
I hope they do a retelling of. It's the Clone Wars, so I hope they do a retelling of what happens in Revenge of the Sith in their own artistic way, and you get to see one more time Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Yeah, do it.
And maybe done a little bit differently. Not that the first one was bad by any stretch, but
I enjoyed it.
Get it done. Have it done a little bit differently.
Do you think they put the scene in where he takes out all the younglings, being that it's a cartoon and it's it's geared up for kids? He is going in there to wreck a bunch of kids. That would be sweet.
I don't know. I mean, technically, he did do it, so you would have to. But I don't think they do. I think they probably, they skip that part. Like maybe they show him march to the temple. They skip all of that, and they find, Yoda and Obi-Wan find in the archives that it happens without really showing it.
Maybe.
Yeah. They kind of just glaze over that part. Kind of pretend like that thing never happened.
Sweep that.
Now, did you beat the new Star Wars game?
Yep.
See, I didn't beat it, but I did watch all the cinematics on it, and so you see Vader come at the very end, and he chops up the.
Yep.
Now, obviously, she was the one chick's
Yep.
Padawan.
Yeah, the second sister. Yeah, she's the Padawan of the girl on the ship. I forget her name, but she closed herself off to the Force and then opens it back up later to help you when you're trying to escape from Vader.
And Vader goes like this.
Yeah.
That's
why I was telling you that ending sequence with Vader is just insane. Like he's just stuff's flying at you from everywhere. You're running, jumping off the stuff. I'm like, this is incredible. Yeah, it was.
I was watching one guy reacting to it, and he's like Vader comes walking up, and he comes down, and what this guy got off of was, what? Vader can jump now? I'm like, what? That was what you got out of this whole thing?
No.
Like, you see all these things flying and everything he said, but he was freaking out that Vader could jump.
Yeah.
Like, well, he's got robot legs.
Yeah,
of course he could jump.
All kinds of stuff.
Of course
bro.
he could jump.
Fly. He could glide like nothing.
That was
could hold the ocean off. I mean, at the end, he's just sitting there like, bam, holding the wall of water from getting him. I'm like, ah. It was so dope.
Yeah.
So dope.
That's the That's the thing that I think not the Force Awakens, but the Force Unleashed did right was they made the Force powers just like beyond spectacular.
Oh sure, yeah.
And then now they dialed it back a little bit, but not a lot.
No.
They dialed it back just a little bit. So you, instead of just these aren't the droids you're looking for,
right,
and saber pulling, you're seeing a bunch of these different things. Now obviously
throwing people, blasters,
pulling down
Kylo,
the Star Destroyer was
the Star Destroyer.
That was a little something different. That was
straight out of Force Unleashed, dude. The old game where you're the bad guy. And you're like,
you're Star Killer.
Yeah.
I think that was his name, Star Killer.
Something like that.
But no, that was cool. And then, like, I don't know if you've ever seen them, and if you haven't, we'll save it and we'll do like reaction videos of it. But have you ever seen any of the cinematics from the Old Republic, the MMO game?
No, I think I've only played the Old Republic for
the Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, Knights.
So the PC they have the old night. It's pretty much Knights of the Old Republic, but Star Wars: The Old Republic, and it's an MMORPG during the Old Republic. But the cinematics that they did for like just A, prior to the launch of the game, and then B, during certain periods of expansions. Not all of them got one, but you watch it, you're like, dude, like, why can't they make a movie like that?
Movie quality, yeah.
Like, because even in these 5-minute cuts or 3 minutes cuts, there's a small little story arc. You understand what you watched. Beginning,
right.
The very first one was called Deceived, and it was all about the Sith coming back and sacking or attacking the Jedi temple on Coruscant.
Oh yeah.
And like you have Darth Malgus, who at the time I didn't know who he was, but everyone's like, oh, that's Darth Malgus. But you have Darth Malgus, who was obviously the Sith ruler at the time, and versus after Darth Bane, where there's only 2 Sith that rule 2. This was like him and an army of Sith.
Damn.
And so he goes walking in there, and actually what they kind of did in this first one is they were kind of like advertising every class a little bit, so you got to see, oh, that's the bounty hunter class, oh, that's this class. So you had a little bit of that in this very first trailer, but shows him like walk right up into the temple, and like these Jedi jump down, they're like kind of like smirking at him, a little bit cocky.
Yeah, like, really?
And the whole time the guy's dialogue is talking about how the Jedi were arrogant and blah blah blah, and they they believed this and they believed the Sith were gone and all this stuff. And then like we joked around about Thor: The Dark World stealing it from this thing, but this airplane comes in and goes right through the temple and like knocks down the pillars, just like it did in Thor: The Dark World.
Yep.
And then the back of it opens up, and one of these Sith guy comes out, does a lightsaber, and then like 20 more just, and
nice.
like the Jedi are like,
uh-oh.
And so now it's a big old fight, and again you get to see these little characters that are gonna play a part in the game.
Right.
And then the ending was like, pretty spectacular and it was just this little skirmish of fights, and then they kind of did it like regressed it. Like they had this part and they did one step back. This was prior to that, and they went one step back when this dude was a Padawan, and the main chick he fought was a Padawan, and then they kind of started during with the expansions. They kind of did, okay, here's all the backstory of these people, so you kind of know, instead of doing like these long quests on the backstory, here's a cinematic of the backstory.
That's cool.
And so it's pretty cool.
Do a reaction video to those one day.
Yeah, we can just do boom, 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 and like there's several of them. I mean, there's 5 or 6 of them, and I think one person meshed them all up, and it's like, it's almost like a 30-45 minute clip, but we'll just do like one at a time.
Right.
Boom, and then you can because I've seen it, and I can watch you see it, and then
react with it.
You can be like, you're right, dude. They do need to make a movie like this.
Yeah, for
that
sure.
was awesome.
Yeah, that's cool when people mash them up like that too, to make it easier for you to view. Just like the Super, I've been watching a lot of mashups, so I don't have to go through all the boring crap in there.
Well, and that's nice when you do that, because they cut out all that.
Yep, all the
The
nonsense you
filler
don't need.
and stuff. And
4 hours of yelling at each other, just screaming.
and that was my problem with. It's like one of my more popular videos, and it's the one that has the most thumb down. Was my opinion on the Broly movie. I liked the Broly movie. It was a fun movie to watch, Dragon Ball wise. I did not think it was that good of a movie.
Right.
Like,
it was kind of basic.
I mean, a lot of fighting. The fighting was spectacular. Like, you mean to tell me Frieza got beat up for an hour and a half? Like, just got throttled? Yeah. I have a hard time believing, because they messed up the fusion, or at least an hour. They messed it up twice. That's a half hour each time.
Yep.
And Frieza's just getting blasted for this amount of time. One thing I like to think about is, like, what if instead of, like, Frieza in the Tournament of Power, if they had Broly in the Tournament of Power? Like, if they found Broly, Broly wasn't raged out towards, like, Vegeta, but he still had that rage ability.
Strength, yeah.
And they brought him in instead of, because, like, his ability to adapt, I think he wrecks Jiren. It's just a matter of time.
As they're fighting, yeah, because
it's just a matter.
Fighting,
yeah. It's just a matter of time before, just like he did with the Super Saiyan Blue in base form. It's just a matter of time before he's like, all right, I got you, calculated it down.
Yeah.
Like, I got you. That would have been
to an
cool
extent,
fight.
that's kind of how Goku was fighting with Hit, remember? I mean, it just took him a little second to realize his time lapse. He's like, oh, no, I got you, bro. It's all good. I mean, so you can see Kakarot do that. Yeah, Broly would be able to do that, no problem. But my only thought with that would be is sometimes he's not all there. Like, he's just focused directive, you know, they'd be able to knock him off of that thing and get him sent out real quick, probably.
Yeah, and that would be a good way to where he's not the final character and he does get eliminated due to his own rage.
Still gotta save the day.
His own rage and, like, dead set. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. But it would have been.
I agree with that.
I'm not a big Frieza fan.
Frieza blows.
I'm not a Frieza fan.
I don't like him either.
So
he sucks.
when they brought Frieza back for Resurrection of F, I thought it was just kind of like the community wanted another movie, so let's get another movie and let's look back historically. Who's the one that everyone likes? Oh, they like Frieza. Let's put him in there. Yeah. Let's. All right. Yeah, that should do well. Like, just on that premise alone, and it did well. Like, it did exactly that. It did well. I mean, not amazing. Broly's like the highest grossing of all of them, naturally, because
even put Boo on there, and damn, Boo would have been better.
Originally, he was supposed to be. Remember, he got all thin and jacked, and which was weird because, but he was fat because he absorbed a fat Kai.
Yeah. That's why he was
and not fit Boo. He was fat Boo, not fit Boo. But whatever, that's still cool. I was still pretty excited to see that, and then he fell asleep, and that was
end of Boo.
The end of Boo. And then you have the manga and the moral thing, which I'm probably not gonna really touch until comes out in anime. But also, speaking of anime, I have not been keeping up with Boruto.
I watched the last one. I think what was the last one about? Oh, Enojin using his mind transfer jutsu. When he takes over the person, he's trying to learn how to over willpower the person that he's taking over, and the fat girl Chojo, like, they put a thing of chips right there, and he's like, stop her willpower from getting those chips. Well, naturally, he can't do that.
Chips! You're right.
Yeah. So, in the end, Ino and Sai end up start fighting with each other over how to train him. And they're like going fist-to-fist fights, you know. So him and Chojo are like, you gotta use your transfer to stop your mom. And of course, she just like knocks him out of her brain. Like, yeah, you're too weak, boy. Yeah, so then he finally willpowers her and figures it out. And in the end, Chojo's got fries right there. And she's about to eat one. And he's like, bam, under the table. And Boruto like, did you do it? Did you do it? And he just like falls asleep. He did it! I'm like, yeah, that was pretty cool.
No, like, the last Boruto episode I watched was the conclusion of, like, the time travel.
The main arc, yeah.
Yeah. Which, again, I enjoy watching Boruto, but no. Luckily, I don't have to go to Susanville.
You're right.
Whenever I have time, the last thing I'm doing is watching anime. I'm streaming or wanting to stream or doing something. So that's kind of my thing with the dialysis runs too. I had was like, that was my window to catch up on shows and anime and stuff. And now that that's gone, I don't have that 4 hours to sit around and do nothing a lot. And I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it at 5 a.m.
Yeah, no, that's sleepy time.
Even if I want to, I'll turn it on and fall asleep.
Yeah.
Like, even if I want to.
That was the new Star Wars movie, dude. I rewatched that a few times. Like, I already know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and I was probably controversial thing I'm gonna say. I was probably more happy with the movie as a whole versus Endgame as a whole, because I didn't like. You had to do something, and I know that you had to do something with Endgame. I didn't like the time travel aspect of Endgame.
And that was one of those things before it came out. We were like, what else could they do? They have to do a time travel. Like,
I mean, you've already announced these other movies.
Right.
So, like, it's either that or you're going to get the gauntlet and snap back, which was the original concept of what they were going to do. So, because I didn't like the time travel aspect of it, I mean, don't get me wrong, the final scene was amazing.
Yeah,
a lot of things in the movie were very, very good. Even during the time heist itself, there was things that I really enjoyed. Yeah. America's Ass, stuff like that.
All the little
absolutely
throwbacks to the other movies. Hail Hydra.
Yep.
Sweet.
Yep. And I didn't, I was like, okay, going into this next Star Wars movie, how are they going to use Palpatine? Well, I think they used him in the only way they really could have used him. Now, like...
Other than being, like, an evil Force ghost like Yoda and Luke, I mean, yeah, that's... What else could you do with them at that point?
Now, one thing I heard that was interesting was comes out of Revenge of the Sith novel. It was a conversation between Palpatine and Darth Vader after the fight on Mustafar. And, Vader was upset that he lost to Obi-Wan. And Palpatine was naturally upset that he lost to Obi-Wan. But he's like, obviously you weren't as good as I thought you were, and obviously you weren't as good as you thought you were, because we both thought you were at this level, and Obi-Wan is at this level, and it doesn't matter how familiar he was with your fighting technique, he beat you. He's like, because Obi-Wan went to Mustafar with one goal in mind, to stop you.
Yep.
He said, imagine if Master Yoda had that thought.
Right, that drive. Yeah.
He goes, if Master Yoda went to Mustafar, you would be dead.
Yeah, you.
And if he had that single pure thought of beating Palpatine, he said, like, he probably would have beat me.
Yeah, for sure.
Y'all look way different than how I imagined.
Wait, what?
Fick. Fick's like, y'all look way different than how I imagined.
What'd you imagine we look like, Fick?
Like I said, what are you talking about, dude? I freaking stream quite often with a camera. Now, sometimes I'm like this.
Yeah, and you did that one stream, you had your Toby mask on. That was sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's funny. No, I agree, though, yeah. That would be something to see Yoda with that freaking drive. I'm gonna just wipe these Sith bastards out.
and
take them out.
And like they even mentioned in the novel that
Well, look at Baby Yoda in Mandalorian. I mean, that dude's badass.
Well, they mentioned that Yoda was trying to stop Palpatine and not beat Palpatine in the fight, like, and then got overwhelmed because Palpatine was trying to defeat Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
And even if Yoda beat him, Palpatine's like, well, if you beat me, he even says, if you beat me, Lord Vader will become more powerful than both of us.
Right. Yep. The next one will rise up.
Not knowing that he would have been a crispy Jedi.
Yep, got fried.
But
Guy sensei him.
Well, we're going to go ahead and conclude the first episode. It actually went half hour longer than I even thought we were going to get.
Yeah.
So,
went off a lot of topics.
Thanks for everyone on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch and Mixer, for anybody who stopped by to watch. Fick, I know I meant seeing your video. We'll catch you all probably next week.
Later, guys.